and welcome to this episode of EFT Changes Lives with me, Mary Jane Sharratt. I am an EFT practitioner and trainer, and today I am really happy to welcome Justyna Sodel. And Justyna is also an EFT practitioner and trainer, and she originates from Poland. And we're going to hear a little bit about how she is training people in Polish as well. Good morning, Justyna. How are you?
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Ah, it's great to see you. And Justyna, can we start by you telling us how you found EFT and a little bit about your journey into it?
Mhm. I think that was 2019 when when I needed help. I started having a panic attacks. I needed a therapy, and I found you. Someone recommended me, EFT practitioner because somebody said to me, "Oh, you only need one session to get rid of your spider phobia." So because I was so busy, I was running, another company. I also had a young family. I needed something that works really quick, and because I was already into self-development and I was a Reiki practitioner, so I worked with energy. And I had acupuncture before, so I just like, why can't we do meditation, affirmations, and mental acupuncture? That would work for me. And at that time, I couldn't really meditate because it made me worse. I couldn't even stop. So that's how I got into EFT. And we started with one session for my spider phobia, and it cured it. It was unbelievable. And I just knew I found my practitioner, I found you, and I knew I found this incredible method that really helped me. So that's how it started. And we had a one-to-one session, I think, for sessions for a year
Mm,
every week.
yeah. And I remember your spider phobia because what was so interesting about it was it wasn't even really yours. It was your friend when you were a child who'd been scared of spiders, and you'd kind of taken on this pattern of behavior and this belief that, oh, you're supposed to be scared of spiders. And so you'd taken that on. So it was really interesting. And I still give people that example sometimes in my training. I don't
Yeah.
name you, of course, but
Yeah, I
it's
don't think I would be able to find it and find out about it myself, because you can't go so deep when you work on your own issues. And it really started to affect my family because my younger daughter, she started to just copy me,
yes,
and then it wasn't just spiders, then she got scared of flies. So that's how I knew I needed to do something about it.
fantastic. So, Justina, tell us a little bit about your journey through EFT and what you're doing now.
My journey. So started with one-to-one sessions, and then because I was like tapping in between sessions, you can't just rely on practitioner. And what I love about EFT is really it is a self-help tool to
Mm,
start with, so you can tap on yourselves in between sessions, so you don't have to rely on practitioner, when you have, I don't know, a panic attack or whatever, you can't sleep in the middle of the night, you can always
mm,
tap on yourself. You don't have to call, practitioner. That's the tool you have, your own hands, you always have them with you.
yes.
Yeah, so I started having one-to-one sessions, and then you suggested, you were like, oh, you tap in between sessions, let's come to my level 1 training. So then when I just fell in love with it, I just got so passionate about it. But then I was running another company. I was, so busy. I couldn't imagine that's what I would be doing for a living. But I think when you follow your passion, it
Mm,
just happens. You can't stop it.
yeah. And you became a practitioner a few months later, didn't you? You did level 2, and you actually made that big career change quite soon after that, didn't you?
Yeah, I think soon after, I qualified, I was earning £1,000 a month, from one-to-one sessions.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel like work to me. I absolutely loved it. I think it's the best feeling in the world when you help someone.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe I was actually getting paid, for it because I loved it so much. But that's probably another belief. So belief. I absolutely love it. I think it's the best feeling in the world. That's why, I became a trainer to spread EFT into the world.
Fantastic. And I think from really early on as well, you were running a group in Polish, EFT Queens, if I remember.
Yes, yeah. I think how it started because I was just because it was still so unknown in Poland. 2023 it started. I would just got bombarded with questions. When I put my films and videos and reels out.
Mm,
So I started gathering people who were into EFT
yeah,
and into self-development, and that's how the community started. And we've got 65 members at the
fantastic.
moment.
Fantastic. So now you're training in Polish, but you're also doing events in English as well, I think. Is that right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I started doing workshops in Portugal, where I live now, where I currently live. Again, because there is a need for human connection,
Mm,
and I felt like at first my first workshop, I wasn't really known in where I live in Portugal, in Algarve. I got fully booked. 8 people turned up, which was amazing. It just proved that there is a need for
yeah,
a real human connection, for releasing these uncomfortable emotions in a safe way
yeah,
with EFT.
yeah. Fantastic. And you must be one of the few trainers that are training EFT in Polish, I think, aren't you?
I think just the only one with EFT Mindfulness Center. So
Great. Yeah, fantastic. And moving to Portugal, that wasn't a small decision. So tell us a little bit about that. And did EFT, was that a part of that process to help with the move?
yes, because I was able to work online. Otherwise I would never make that decision because yeah, working online allowed me to work from anywhere, and I was just stuck in my little bedroom in Northampton where I lived in UK. So I would just thought, I can do it from anywhere in the world, and that's the beauty. And it actually is better when sometimes when you work online with people. I was gonna tell you about some examples when I worked with clients who had like social phobia, for example, and they just couldn't physically leave the house without having panic attacks. I'm working with people who live in really like small villages when they have no access to that kind of therapy. So working online is brilliant.
Yeah, fantastic. And that's a really great thing, isn't it, about EFT, is it can work. It's beautiful in person, but it also works really well online as well. Yeah, I remember feeling a bit dubious about that when I began training online during COVID, but it's always worked really nicely, I've found. Yeah, very good. So, are there any other significant events, maybe in your own life, significant experiences where you feel EFT's made quite a big difference for you? And maybe you've done something that you wouldn't have done if you hadn't have had that technique.
Mhm. I think because you imagine have a big supportive EFT community, and Karen and Marilu and Jess and girls I've been training with,
Mhm.
they we starting doing tapping circles every Tuesday. We call it tapping circles, so that really helped me to gain confidence. And also doing swap sessions with other practitioners,
Mm.
working on my own issues, on the childhood, on on so many things that are normally hidden, that I would that everyone has some kind of problem, some kind of traumas. And also just working on my everyday issues, children, family, business, that sort of thing. But I think I experienced a big financial loss. That was 2000, I think, when was it? 2023 again. So yeah, I was in pieces. I was like bleeding for a month. I was in a really bad state. It really affected my family when you lose a large of money. I could really, buy a house for that kind of money.
Mm.
So without EFT, without your support and and the EFT community support, I don't think how I would survive. Yeah, it was really hard, but yeah, it made me stronger. I see it now. So I can actually teach how to deal with a financial trauma, really. But yeah, with EFT it made it really more manageable.
Yeah. What do you think changed sort of in your mindset around that financial loss?
What changed? I think I'm now ready for big money.
Great.
No, it made me realize, I'm much resilient and much stronger than I was, and also highlighted some of my limiting beliefs that I didn't even realize I had. So it was just showed me it was a lesson, and that I had to work more on myself, which never really ends.
Never really does, no. And I think you're right, those times in life which we feel are going to destroy us, that what feel like the absolute worst times, the dark night of the soul, all of that kind of thing, they are often the turning points, I think, aren't they?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. And it sounds like that was a real turning point for you. Yeah. And you've talked a little bit about the EFT community. So do you want to say any more about that? I know your cohort, when you did your training, you bonded really well, didn't you? And as you say, you all kept in touch and had your Tuesday meetups and really supported each other, which I think I saw that made a big difference in your confidence as practitioners for all of you. But is there anything else you want to say about the community now and how important that has become to you?
Mhm. I think supervisions are important. When you come to supervision, you don't know what you don't know. It's always big learning and gaining from your experience and from other practitioners. It's just invaluable.
Yeah.
So I'm doing the same with my community. I actually have a supervision tomorrow, so I became accredited supervisor with EFT Mindfulness Center. But yeah, having this support, that whatever happens, if something happens in my life, I know I've got you, I know I've got other practitioners, I can reach out, and we all have our niches. So there is a practitioner I know for grief, for depression, for
Mm.
weight loss, anything, if you have a shopping list of problems, there's always a practitioner within your community
Yeah.
that we know they are under supervision, they're qualified, they properly trained.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're right, I love that the supervision, that hive mind, the fact you've got people coming in there with a whole heap of different experiences. And I learned something every supervision, and I've been doing this work a good while. So there's always something new to learn. And I really like what you say about you don't know what you don't know, because we can think we know it all. And then you come to supervision and you hear something and you think, oh, I hadn't thought of that. Or, yeah, I wouldn't have done that with a client. So there's always more to learn, isn't there? And I'm a big advocate of encouraging everybody to keep learning. And I know you are too. And you're doing that. You're doing hypnotherapy training at the moment. How's that going? And how do you see that might integrate with EFT?
I think it goes hand in hand with EFT, because I think it was actually one of my clients' idea. She's a hypnotherapist, and she said, you always do like a grounding meditation on the beginning, and you have a lovely voice. You have a voice that is really calming and soothing, and you always do at the end. I always do meditation as well. Sort of to consolidate, to balance the chakras, that kind of thing, and to ground the client. So I just thought, why not?
Yeah,
Yeah,
fantastic.
and it is working with subconscious, same as EFT.
Yeah, brilliant. So as well as trainings, I think you've just run your first retreat in Portugal.
Oh yes. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Great. And that was for Polish community.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But yeah, I'm running some workshops in English in Vilamora in Algarve. I'm running retreat again in Polish in October, which I've only got two
Fantastic.
places left, so it's almost fully booked. So yeah, I absolutely love it. I love
Mm.
what I do, and I love EFT, and I will be forever grateful, Mary Jane, for teaching EFT. You're doing a fantastic job.
Well, I'm really happy that you're getting it out in another language because it sounds like maybe the Polish community, and I think there's a huge number of Polish speakers in the world. I can't remember. I asked you once. It's, into many millions, isn't it? Not just in Poland, but of course all over the world. And I think it's so fantastic that you're doing this in that language where it sounds like there's a real need. People are really looking for this, but maybe there's not much supply. So fantastic that this is your specialism, really, isn't it?
Mhm. Yeah, and there is a need because I think so many, even psychologists, doctors, they don't realize you have to work with the body.
Yeah,
You know, you can't, all these talking therapies, I think they work. Obviously, I can't say they don't work, but I think they work to a certain extent, in my opinion. When I have clients coming, they sometimes say, you know, your one session of EFT is like my 6 sessions of psychotherapy,
yeah,
my talking therapy, because, you know, so many people have somatic experiences, you know, they have,
yeah,
I know, pain or anxiety in their chest or in the tummy.
yeah,
And if you just do talking therapy and don't work with the body,
yeah.
it's not gonna work 100%.
Yeah, I completely agree. And when something happens, we feel that in the body before we cognitively think, oh, I'm feeling this emotion, don't we? You know, we get that punch in the stomach feeling or that lurching in our heart or that churning or whatever it is. So yes, you're right. I think combining the mind stuff with the body stuff is really where that's where I feel the future of therapy is going. I don't know if you do too.
Yes, I agree. And so many people are now realizing that, you know, you can help yourself by working with your body. Especially if you like, I had a client who had panic attacks, you know, she couldn't leave the house, you know, just because every time she left the house, she couldn't, you know, she had a panic attack or, you know, she couldn't breathe, that sort of thing. And then I just told her, you know, whenever she only went to like outside of her house to walk her dog,
Mhm.
like around the blocks. And I told her, and next time you have your panic attack, you know, just try to just squeeze the fingers, you know.
Mm.
And I gave her a suggestion to, you know, to visualize her safe place, something you told me. So she did that, and the panic attack stops. And then, you know, I didn't hear from her for a while, you know, and because I always keep in touch with my clients, and I just thought maybe, you know, she wasn't happy with sessions, you know, but she was she after she got back to me eventually, she wanted like a top-up session. She said, you know, I didn't need any more sessions because in that time she started going around the world. She started going, getting in the planes, you know. She went to Paris, she went to Belgium, she went on holiday, you know. Someone who was like literally stuck in house for like 2 years, and she was only, I think, 19 or 20 at that time,
Wow.
started exploring the world, not just, you know, in her hometown, but going all places. That's, I think, one of my biggest, probably, you know, successes, I would say.
Yeah.
Stop smoking was another great session when, you know, you can literally, you know, someone can even comprehend that they can stop smoking in like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
but really, I think it's working with your beliefs.
Yeah.
That's the deepest work, you know, you can do. You
I
know,
agree.
just finding the events and beliefs that, you know, clients made a decision or belief at that time. And
Yeah.
if you work with that, you know, I had an example yesterday. You know, I had a trainee on a course, and you know, we always do, you know, in the training courses we do work on ourselves, on
Mhm.
our own issues, on the trainees issues, problems. And her problem was like, oh, I can't exceed in my business because, you know, I have no money. And we did like 15 minutes demo, and
Mhm.
then we had a break. And after the break, she's coming down, she's like, oh, all excited. And in that break, her husband called her, which, to be honest, he's never been that supportive in terms of, you know, financially supporting her business. But she's like, oh, you know, he said to me, oh, I found this venue for your business, let's do this, let's do that. So she just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
But so that's just an example that, you know, EFT works instantly sometimes.
Yeah. And I think that's such an amazing example of how when we change something in us, something in our own energy changes, it impacts everyone around us. And that can have a massive knock-on effect. And things that we could never even have imagined can happen. Yeah. It is magic. I mean, it's not technically magic, but it does feel like magic.
Yeah, it does feel, it's like magic, but it's evidence based, it's
Yeah,
proven.
exactly. Scientifically backed magic.
Yes,
We could call
yes,
it.
yes.
So, Justina, what would you say to somebody who says, well, I've seen EFT, it looks a bit strange. What would you say to them if they're thinking about it, but they're kind of a bit sitting on the fence?
I think they just have to give it a go, and work and see how it works on themselves.
Yeah.
They have to really try it, because I can tell you how the apple tastes, but unless you have a bite, you will never know.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't describe it, can you, unless you experience it? That's so brilliant. So you've now moved to Portugal with your family, so a big thing, and you're not working in the business you were in that you
Yes,
had
I am still
before.
working in a
Oh, you're
business.
still doing a bit. Okay.
Yes,
But
yes,
primarily
yeah, with
you're
some
an EFT
commitment. Yeah,
trainer.
yes, primarily. Yeah, I'm mainly doing EFT. I still do a little bit of work on the other business.
Could you ever have imagined that being the case?
Never in a. I could probably think, I could go on in a space on a spaceship is would be the same
Okay.
at that time.
It
Yeah,
never
it's
felt.
incredible. And what you said about when you work on yourself, on your limiting beliefs, on your energy, on regulating your nervous system,
Yeah,
amazing things happens. You can't logically know what's going to happen,
yeah.
because universe got the biggest surprise. And I think if you follow your heart, if you follow your passion,
Hmm.
that's what happens.
Yeah. And you often end up, far exceeding what your greatest hopes had ever been, don't you?
Yeah, and I think the best thing is about you being so equipped. When you learn EFT, even if you come for EFT session as a client, or you do EFT level 1, 8 hours training course, you have it for life.
Yeah,
You can't
absolutely.
unlearn how to do EFT, because it's so simple and so powerful.
Yeah, yeah. Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us today, Justyna. So your links and website, etc., will be shared below if anyone wants to get in touch with you, particularly people who are Polish speakers, but also English speakers as well. Are you a Portuguese speaker yet?
No, I think I need to tap on it.
Maybe, but maybe in the future, because anything's possible.
Yes, yes, that's on my list to do. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Just need to finish
Thank,
all these courses, and hypnotherapy course, and then I'll have more time. It's
fantastic.
important to learn the language country you're living in.
It makes a difference. Thank you so much for joining me today, Justyna, and sharing so much of your story and experiences too.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And if you thinking of trying EFT, giving a go, or even becoming a practitioner or incorporating EFT into your practice, don't hesitate, because yeah, it's life changing.
Yeah, fantastic. Great words.